Yeah.
Bear gavel.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Everybody. We don't have an agenda, so where are we?
No, we don't. So on the agenda or on the notice for the work session, I basically said everybody else said it was part of a budget. It's
Okay,
So I invited the Tree Commission, Marshall County Council on Aging, Visit Culver Visitor Center, Culver Youth Club.
good.
I'll just go in the order that they responded to me.
All right.
So the Tree Commission responded first in Marshall County. And then I think Culver Youth Club and then Tracy for the Visitor Center. So if you could just keep it brief, provide your update, and you can always come back too. I'll just advise that you can always come back if you want to go more into detail and come to the council during the meeting. So.
All right, I'm John Helfrey from the Tree Commission. And just to give you a little bit of background, we haven't done much for the last couple of years as far as planting. But as of the end of 12/24, we had a $15,000 budget. And we did some pruning. We planted 18 parkway trees. And we had a balance as of 2024, a surplus we didn't use of $16,0550. And then in 2025, due to the IU grant and the trees we put in over at Cavalier Park and around the school, because of the delays in that program, we weren't sure what we'd be able to do as far as parkway trees. So we didn't really do anything as far as planting in 2025. We gave some of the money that we had in the budget to the streets department to remove some stumps and help them with tree removal. So in that particular year, 2025, we did not utilize $4,950 of our $15,000 budget. This year, in 2026, we just voted prior to this evening's meeting on a new order from Dogwood Hills for 22 trees to be delivered and planted. And that's with the mulch and everything that goes with it for $11,376. And we plan on doing some pruning in the fall with some of the larger trees by a professional who's insured. So we're probably going to end up using the rest of our budget for that. And I'm going forward, going through the town as much as we have, I think there's probably room for another 45 to 50 trees we could plant over the next few years. We don't want to do it all at once. We don't have money for it. We want the manpower to maintain them because you need at least a good 3-year start with watering and taking care of them. And don't have a lot of people volunteering to do that. So I'm here to ask you to continue our $15,000 funding to continue on the planting and pruning over the next couple of years. And that's it in brief.
Thanks, John.
They do a good job. They limited amount of resources in terms of labor. And talking with the school, there might be an opportunity to bring some of their horticulture students in and to assist with some things. So we're going to start bridging that a little bit. John's talked about it, but do appreciate everything they do.
I do have it. It comes out of the clerk's budget. And I've already got that. I took a wild guess and just got this.
Okay, thank you.
Marshall County Council on Aging.
Hi, my name is Janice Holliday. I'm the director of Marshall County Council on Aging. Happy to see two of my wonderful board members here. Russ and Mike are both on our board of directors. So appreciate them being here as well. Just to give you an update on our transportation program, we broke the record again last year. That's about the 5th year in a row. We did 29,213 trips for the county. 884 of those were from Culver residents. And even that, I think, doesn't really paint the true picture of where we're at now. We did expand our hours back in April, so we're now open 6 to 6, Monday through Friday. And it has gone gangbusters ever since then. We are considering maybe opening on some weekends next year. And we've even looked, we've got MACOG looking into maybe some route systems for us and things like that as well. This year, we've already done 659 trips here in Culver. Whether it's, you know, bringing someone to Culver or taking someone here somewhere else. We cover the northern half of Indiana, so we do go to Indianapolis, we go to Fort Wayne quite often, we go to South Bend, Mishawaka multiple times a day. And besides those 659 trips, we also did so far that, well, in the first half of this year, 194 Meals on Wheels deliveries here in Culver as well. Some of the things that we do that's really increased our trips down here. We take one young lady to work here every day. She lives at Lake Latonka and she works here in town. So we take her 3 or 4 times a week. We have another lady that lives in Argus that comes here to visit her husband that's in the nursing home here 2 or 3 times a week. And then we even did a trip for the Marshall County Museum a couple months ago. They had a staff and service day, and so we took them here in several different spots around town. They did a tour, like a history tour. So we do fun things like that as well. So I appreciate all your support that you've done in the past several years, and hope we can continue. Happy to answer any questions.
Inflation, they probably need a little bit of an increase.
That would be nice, yes. Our rates for transportation, anywhere up to 5 miles is $2.50. And anywhere from 6 to 30 miles is $6, and anything over that is $11. So most we charge the client themselves is $11.
Now, that's the cab stuff. That's not taking a senior to the doctor.
Right. Any trips over 5 miles for seniors going to the doctor are free to them. We do have some other grant funding stuff that covers those costs.
That's great. What did we have in our budget last for 2026?
7,200, and we upped that from the year before, and it was 6,500. And I found my first mistake of, I'm sure maybe on here, but the number didn't carry over to what you have, so.
Okay.
But it comes out of Riverboat.
Operationally, fuel cost. Obviously this year.
Yeah, it's definitely gone up. We do get our fuel from the county, so that's, you know, we do get a break at least as far as that goes. Kind of maybe hoping one of our dispatchers is trying to talk to the city into letting us do that, because we have to go out to King Road. That's like 3 miles from our office. So we count all that mileage and gas it takes just to fill up too.
Vehicles on, how many vehicles roughly?
We have 12 vehicles right now,
Thank
so we have 3 buses that can seat up to 14 people,
Okay.
and then we have 9 minivans. I did ask for an increase for next year from NDOT, both for operating funds and then also an extra vehicle, an expansion vehicle.
Maintenance responsibility on those, do you outsource that? Is it?
We do, yeah, we have a couple people we use in Plymouth. I guess I didn't mention to you that our full budget for next year is $726,800, just for transportation, not our other programs that we have. So, and how it works is we're estimating about 65,000 in fares. So out of that, that's all we get paid from the client is about that much.
Okay.
But NDOT then reimburses us half those expenses. Then we get the rest of it, from you guys and the county and some grants that we apply for. Things like that. So we have to come up with 331,000.
Big bake sale.
Yes.
It's a lot of big.
Are you fairly successful in your grants?
Pardon me?
Excuse me, are you fairly successful?
Yes,
in
so
your
we have
grants?
one, the one that pays for the 16 over to medical, we've had since before I was there. It's Title III money through Real Services. So we've had that every year. We recently got a grant starting last year. It is good for 3 years, from Beacon Health. So it's been very helpful. And then we're part of the whole GROW initiative, with rural healthcare. So and we do a lot of partnerships with other places as well, like the hospital, like Project Hope, Marshall County Hope, Marshall Stark Development. We have a lot of different partnerships that we do as well.
I appreciate knowing that you're able to connect somebody to someone in a nursing home, or potential grieving situation, or even just helping someone heal at that stage. And doing some of the social stuff, I think, is so important too, because there can be isolation among that, population. And I know from having an elderly parent in the community, how important it is to get her to her doctor's appointments. I live here, my sister lives here, but not everybody has somebody living in the local area to handle those things. So I think it's a really important service that you all are doing. And I really appreciate how you've expanded and just kept going. And I know it's not easy to raise those funds. You have to apply for grants every year and you have to do all the work. It's a lot of work.
But
So
yes.
thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely needed. We know that. That was one thing I was totally shocked at myself when I started working there. I've been there for about 18 years. But I have 11 siblings and we all are grown and have kids now too. So my siblings and our kids are like 95. And so it shocked me that people don't have family. They didn't have kids, or they live far away, or for whatever reason. It's amazing how many people are in that situation.
Yeah. And some people don't drive at that age anymore,
Right. We do see a lot that will drive in town if they have an appointment here or somewhere, but they're not going to drive themselves to Mishawaka or Fort Wayne or something.
Well, when you run the math, it's not a lot of money for us, so I would have no problem with adjusting for inflation. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
I'm brand new, so my name is Razna Melvin, and I'm the new executive director for the Culver Youth Club. I started last month. Previous to that, I was a teacher, and I did special education for years. I live in Rochester area, so I'm kind of close by because I live in the countryside of Rochester. So since I've been with CYC, I've been trying to figure out different ways that I can build up the programming and reach out to the community in different ways as well, and show these kids different things that they might not see on a typical basis. We do field trips. We go throughout the community and do different things. So one of the things I would like to focus on is an environmental thing. I think that it's very important that these kids learn, what's around them in the environment, how to help protect it, and to meet new people. I think reaching out to the community would be another thing that would be good for these kiddos because they're going to grow up in this area, hopefully. So, and leadership skills. I've started a couple different clubs within the youth club where they are working on their leadership skills as an older group and as a younger group. So I have two different leader clubs where they can learn how to help each other in different ways. I don't know previously what you guys have helped with, but respectfully, 5,000 would be wonderful.
How many kids do you have in the program?
So over the summer, we had about 80 that signed up, and roughly we had 60 every day that would show up. For the after school program, we just started that. Yesterday was our first day of the after school program, and we have 100 signed up, and we had 62 show up yesterday. And then I have more parents that have reached out wanting to sign their kids up. They just haven't yet, or maybe we just started a preschool can come now. So I've had some parents that were like, okay, when my kid turns 4, can they come? And yes, they can. So I would say roughly at like consistently showing up about 120 kids between the summer program and the after school program throughout the year.
Again, what was the after school program? How many?
We had 100 sign up and 62 showed up yesterday out of those 100 that have signed up.
That's about typical of club, Bill, over the years. That base will grow a little bit into the fall because once word is out with newer students, the older students typically are the ones to sign up right away. That's pretty normal, like an average daily attendance. It'll fluctuate too with sports, so.
Getting ready to say that. I was gonna say some of our kiddos are in sports, so they come only certain days, that they don't have sports. We've had a couple of the students that were previous CYC members that have aged out because you can only go until you're 11. Now they want to come back and volunteer. So we have 4 staff members that were previous Culver Youth Club members as kids, and they actually work for the youth club now. So
How late are you open after school?
we are open until 6. So 3 to 6, Monday through Thursday, 2 to 6 on Fridays. Yeah.
It's a big bridge for working parents.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And then in the summer, we open at 7:30 until 5, which is huge. We've had good success with that as well.
It basically enables workforce in the area to drop their kids off for summer and pick them up after work. And then in the winter, it's after school. That's to me the number one benefit, and it enables parents to work, but also glad to hear they're taking pre-K, because that's huge.
Yeah.
Especially with the.
We debated that. I used to be on the board. We debated that for a long time, but I was kind of for it because there's a preschool program in the school now. And
Yes.
if you can align those, that's even better.
Yep. And we have about 10 that have signed up for the after school program. So that's a pretty good number with it being brand new. Over the summer, we had probably 5. We didn't have a whole lot in the summer as far as preschool kiddos. So it's been successful. We're seeing the numbers grow a little bit. So, which is, that's key. Yeah.
I wonder if Marshall County, do you guys get a contribution from Marshall County still? Do you know?
That's a great question. I'm still learning all this.
Miss, so you might, check with the Plymouth Club.
Okay.
Because what happened was they used to give it money to the Plymouth Club. Then the other 2 after-school programs, I think it was Bremen and Culver, caught on. So they hit up the commissioners, but if you don't keep hitting them up, they kind of forget about you.
Kind of fizzle out a little bit.
Yeah, and it was pretty significant. I want to say like 15,000
Okay.
between Bremen and Culver, and then I think another 15 went to Plymouth.
Okay.
So
I'll
you
check
guys
on
are
that.
serving the same number of kids as Plymouth, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Just
That's
FYI.
impressive. Yeah, that's great. That's good news. I like hearing that. Yeah. And we look for grants. I've been all over the computer looking for grants as well too, because those are important. We have some wonderful donors throughout the community that help every, when they can. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. One for.
Okay. Sorry, Karen, I wrote all over your side. Well, I couldn't get my computer up, sorry. I'm Tracy Gordon. I'm the executive director of the Lake Max, Culver Lake Maxinkuckee Visitor Center. I've come before you before, asked for money. This time a little bit more prepared with presentation for you. This is more for you to just kind of read on your own, kind of just talks about our purpose, talks about things that we've done this past year, advertising, designing, marketing, participating in Fall Fest, Winter Fest, Holiday, Culver Holiday, working with the businesses, did the event magnets. We updated and refreshed the visitors guide. We just got those out. We have brand new pictures for that. So it's pretty exciting. There's a lot more we did. I just kind of did an overview. Future plans. So some stuff we're going to just keep expanding on. our marketing visitor guides. I'm actually gonna be working with, collaborating with, Andrea at the Visit Marshall, or Visit Marshall County. And we're gonna be doing, a visitor guide, so it'll be, similar to what we have, but it'll be ready to be, when we're ready to update. This isn't one we're doing like tomorrow because we just finished one and it took a while. So, but making it so that they all look for all of the towns. So it'll be Plymouth, Culver, all of Marshall County's, towns, and it will look uniformed, but we will still have our own. But just something that kind of sticks out so that we are still using, so Marshall County, sticks out to people when they, come visit. So, continuing with our marketing, our Travel In magazine, this year I met with Amy and we're gonna be doing, more articles. I wrote 4 articles for them this year. We'll be doing 6 articles for them next year. Event advertisements, just advertising in the Lakes magazine and, in the fairs and festival guide, and in Indiana magazine as well. Digital marketing, this is gonna be something new that we're gonna be trying, and seeing, actually, we've done some, preliminary things with this already, but Meta advertising's doing, search engine advertising, Google, ads as well. Next one is Explore Culver. It's online and then in local businesses. So, Lucy and I kind of started this. We're kind of still figuring out the name. We put in there one week, like what's happening in Culver, Explore Culver, check out Culver. We haven't found something that we're in love with. So we kind of we're working on the name. It's in progress. We're expanding our community partnerships and our event programming. So this year, in 2027, we'll be doing, a wine fair, and still working on where that's going to be. We thought maybe the park, but the park's electricity usage isn't going to work for us. So, we are going to be looking at some other venues as well. I don't really want to say because I don't know yet. Short-term rental community. So we've already started this working with our Airbnb and Verbos and trying to get together with them and seeing how we can help them. We already know how we want them to help us. And different, which kind of goes into the next one, which are welcome bags, resources for the short-term rental guests, and for new residents as well. So putting together, I mean, I know when we moved somewhere, we had a little welcome basket that came. I think we're out of baskets now. So maybe like, I don't mean out of baskets, but like that was like the 90s. So like maybe a folder, some information on it, getting all the businesses listed in there, all the different activities that we have that are going on in our community, the library, the park, the maps of where our trails are, bike trails, those kinds of things. So that they have it all in one place, that they don't have to go look for it. So any questions? Oh, last year, I look at the money lady and I'm like, oh, yeah. Hold on just a second. In past years, I don't know, several years is what I wrote. I could find maybe back to 3 years ago, but don't quote me on that, we've asked for $30,000. This year, we're asking for $34,000. This is kind of just going up with inflation, and then starting that whole new section of working with like our Airbnbs, working with our rental companies, and kind of hitting that new avenue. So any questions?
Has Andrea said anything about Marshall County tourism contributing to visitor center?
Yeah, so we went,
Grants still, or-
we had a grant, we went for a grant. We asked for $40,000. Right now, they've given us $7,500. They did not like the way that the grant was written. because Andrea's gonna do more of the marketing part of that, so part of our grant that we wrote before Andrea was hired and before Andrea got that position, that money was supposed to be distributed to everybody for marketing, and now that they hired Andrea, they pulled that back. So some of the money that we've asked for was marketing dollars, not knowing that that was what they were gonna do. We have been invited to come back, and we could present something else to them if we would like to.
I just wondered if they're ever gonna contribute to their tourist-based economy in Culver.
Well, there was a mild issue that was presented to me about the forma that they contributed to for the hotel study, which I did present them with the actual forma. It didn't bring a hotel, but it did bring data, and obviously they're waiting, and I respect that. I said, when I get updates and if we can move forward with the hotel company, let them know. I think that may be possible to mention to you. That was 15 grand, you know, so they have contributed that respectfully, and they paid for the video, but yeah, I think that it's an interesting thing that we do.
I mean, I just look at that Airbnb funding that they generate from our Airbnbs and just kills me that we have to fund our own visitor center. It just kills me.
So Andrea and I are kind of working that on the side, like, put together. She's got a new program that actually shows you, breaks down that data much more. And so she's trying to get, Marshall County Tourism to fund that. But there's some hesitation, and I don't fully understand that. Like, I don't understand what the hesitation is. I wasn't at the meeting, so, that's just my ignorance. I don't know. So I feel like once she can get that, that gives us a better chance of trying to figure out where we can get more money from. Like, I feel like that's more proof, instead of us just saying, oh, well, I know that we had this many people come to this event, or we had this many people, and it's hard to do that in the events that we offer. You know, I mean, if we're at Lake Fest and we're trying to get money for Lake Fest, people are coming in every direction for Lake Fest. It's not like you walk in with, you know, ticket turner. So,
Yes.
I kind of at a loss. I don't know how to handle that. So I think just working with Andrea on this is probably our best bet for our town. So.
So, Andrea in there.
I know.
Just kills me that we do this every year.
Right.
Nothing.
I
to do
know,
with
I
you,
know,
Tracy.
I know. I worked so hard. I put in so many hours to write that grant, and then I went there and it was very devastating to me. So
Yeah, I
very
understand.
devastating.
Been there a few times myself.
Mhm.
I would love to, if you get a chance, or Andrea, I'd love to get their scheduled meetings.
Oh, for sure. I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
have to
mind
get that.
showing up for some.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think they're open to the public, but should be if they're not.
But they are, because I think they're recorded.
Yeah, it was very weird. I mean, they wanted to give money specifically and very specifically to things and items that would make more people purchase Airbnbs, purchase hotel rooms. But I mean, we thought that, you know, with our programming that kind of does that, but they said, no, they want like, you know, it was very weird. Like they did like the idea of us coming up with a community of our Airbnb hosts to get with them, talk with them, see what's working, what's not. But I think that's all they were willing to.
Okay, basically, all the Airbnbs in the county are located in Culver. That's not obvious to them. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Too many Airbnbs and free.
yeah. So.
Just having the same argument with different board.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Things you do get out. Okay. I'm looking good. Django, because that like the meeting over.
You know, I gotta get up earlier than Bob.
Oh.
He gets to sleep.
Makes you up here, you get ready.
Does take him long to get ready.
It does.
I do need to get.
He's got a demanding.
He's got
You were, did somebody? That's-
She was here.
All right,
Second half of
I'll get you.
Yes and no. It was off when I got.
Yeah.
Damon was
I'm
there.
sorry.
Damon was there. Called me, doing this already.
Desk in order.
Thank you. And we're back. You're up.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good,
All
buddy.
right, we're good. Thank you. I brought Larry with me tonight as the recently appointed deputy chief. I thought he should see how the budgets work. And have the opportunity to set it as well. So feel free to direct all the questions to him, and this will be a trial run to see how.
Be a lot shorter.
Oh, my. You set it up. I just hit him. I have met with Kevin periodically over the last few months, as well as Karen. He kind of went over some of my goals and stuff for next year. Met with Karen. And we put these 27 requests together. So as you go through here, you'll see there's not a lot of changes from the current 26 to the 27 projected. Do we have somebody online? Do I need to speak up?
We don't, but
Okay.
it's being recorded, so.
Okay, I didn't know if it was one of the other council members. I relied on Karen's expertise for the first three on personal services in regards to salaries, longevities, and benefits. Of course, there was an increase in there. As we go through the rest of these, I'll hit on the ones that you see that there's a difference, and feel free to stop me if you have any questions, or we'll go back to the ones that there's not any difference. Telephone increased $300. That's just to give us a little bit of buffer. So still my projected goal for the remainder of this year to upgrade our phones from officers having flip phones to go to a smartphone. There's just really no efficiency with a flip phone whatsoever. And everybody anymore wants to send us pictures that they took or videos or whatever. So that's just a little bit of a buffer to take care of that cost. We did figure in a little bit of an increase last year, but that just covers the phones. Insurance and bonds, I relied on Karen for that increase. Uniforms, you'll see the last few years we've been going $2,500, and we show an increase for the 27 budget of $3,750. That's really not an increase. We talked last year that I wanted to incorporate a certain dollar amount per officer for a uniform allowance. That did get figured in for the current 26, but it was put into benefits. Put in the benefits line item, very similar to where our boot allowance was. But I just asked Karen if she would take that out of the benefits and move that down to uniforms, because most of that is all going to be uniform related. It's coming from a uniform job, so it's just easier for me to say that those are all uniforms. And it doesn't look like it's coming out of a benefit.
Chad, do you normally, when you hire a new officer, the cost of outfitting them is that included in that?
So the total that we're projecting for the 27 request is 6,250. That's the 2,500 plus the 3,750. So when we hire somebody, I would take that $2,500 or whatever we have typically in that line item and outfit them with their initial. And then that clothing allowance that I wanted to institute is for each officer to kind of know what they have and give them some kind of bite in it and say, go buy what you need, as long as it's clothing related, uniform related, something that's gonna be part of your uniform. And so they kind of have some skin in the game to keep track of that. But kind of to answer your question, I would be outfitting a new officer for $2,500. That's probably stretching it. A pair of pants now is probably $90. One uniform shirt's probably 80 to 90 by the time you put the patches on it and the zippers and stuff. And that would just be for a shirt and pants. A lot of the expensive stuff that's on your duty belt, the guns, the tasers, the radios and stuff, those are passed down because we have those from the previous officer. But potentially you're buying somebody a new belt. You know, what are those, 100 and 135? Yeah.
They're expensive.
I mean, all that stuff is expensive, but that, out of that 2,500 is where I would typically be trying to outfit a new officer.
Can I clarify? one thing?
Sure.
So it's, the clothing allowance would be, we give them an X amount of money and we set it as, and that would be taxable. This is gonna be, we've got this money that we'll order you a pair of pants, so they're not gonna get that entire amount, it's just going to go toward, so we'll end up getting the bill for the clothing as they purchase it. So it's not a, here's however much, go buy what you need to get, and we don't, you could buy it that, or you could buy something else, so.
Yeah.
We just, I think it's a lot easier accounting for it,
Exactly.
and it's not tax, we don't have to include it on the W-2s and do the tax implications, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I just
Thank
wanted
you
to
for bringing that
clarify.
up, because, a lot, Larry may be able to attest for this. Different departments do their clothing allowance different. Some will just give you a check and say, here, go buy what you need. We're not doing that. I'm just calling it a clothing allowance, but it's still coming out of that uniform. It's to us to get rid through the department and approved. It's just that earmark of a dollar amount per officer. And they know I can go buy my pair of pants, and we
So
don't have somebody
It's
using.
not income to the officer.
Correct.
Yeah, I like that, because otherwise they get taxed on if you just gave them a
Right.
check.
Yeah,
Right.
but then it's there, so we don't have officers that are like, they can repair the animal, we don't have to pay for it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's expensive. to outfit a guy. 15 years ago, it was about 1,500, so.
I think nothing is cheap.
No.
It all continued to go up. If there's no other questions on the uniforms, I'll go to the other adjustment. You'll see a decrease for the squad car line item of $13,000. So I wish that $25,000 would buy us a car, but it won't. But the reason that I've done this is, so we had $38,000 in 25's fiscal year 25's budget. When we just bought the new Durango that we took delivery of this year, I encumbered that funds from 25 into 26, and we paid that. And we already had $38,000 that's currently in this year's fiscal year 26 budget. So that's still sitting there.
You encumber again likely for 26.
Yeah, so typically what we were doing when we had 3 cars in rotation is we would buy a car every other year. So that put us at a car was 6 years old and somewhere on an average of 75 to 80,000 miles, which is the good times to be getting rid of before they start giving you problems. Now that we've increased to having 5 cars in rotation, with all the 5 full-time officers having their own car, if we stayed on that 2-year rotation, that puts us at a car at 10 years old. Actually, the 15 that we just got rid of, it was at that 10+ year mark. The next vehicle that's coming up to be rotated out is a 2017. First of the year, it's going to be 10 years. I would love to be able to say that we will be able to keep a car for 10 years old and maybe 100 to 120,000, 125,000. What helps is when one officer drives a car, it's a little bit better taken care of than having that car on the road 24 hours a day, 3-4 days at a time. And it can keep those miles down as well. But what I would like to do is, since I currently have $38,000 in this year's budget, is come to you folks in the latter part of this year and use that money in the 26 budget and order a car at the end of this year. And potentially trade out that 2017, which is now just turned over 105,000 miles. And use this year's budget. It cost the vehicle that we just got at Larry's, that new Durango we took delivery of after trade, that was right at like 38,300 is what we paid for that. So I'm hoping to stay around that, and since there's that much money in this year's budget, utilize that now and get a car at the end of this year. And then for 27, that's why we only budgeted 25,000, because the next car will be coming in the first part of 28. So we would be able to use 27 and 28's budgets and put those two together. That's typically what we used to do years ago when we were definitely on that rotation of buying a car every other year. We would split the cost and you'd encumber. So it was kind of going back to that model. And it helped a little bit on the 27 budget and potentially the 28 budget going forward, since we're unsure what the SDA one's going to be doing. But since that money is currently in fiscal year 26 for a car, I would like to come to you folks at the end of the year and use this year's budget, and then we'll be able to cut that down for next year. And that allows us then to take delivery of a car 3 years in a row, and get out that high mileage car. And then the next one to be going would be that Durango, and it's at like 70,000. So in potentially 28, we should be really good set of cars. That was kind of the thought process going of why that was a decrease in that, of just being able to utilize 2 years worth of budgets for a replacement car. And the rest of them all pretty much stayed the same. I didn't see any major changes to do a decrease or an increase. I know if you do look down through the items on how much is still budgeted for certain equipment line items for this 2026, I still do have some plans to get stuff purchased out of this year's budget. Office stuff. Getting a new printer or scanner. We're doing a lot more scanning and uploading now. Some new office chairs. We talked about the telephone. We increased that a little bit, giving the guys all smartphones. Getting on that rotation for the car computers. So we did purchase 3 of them last year that we need to get replaced. My goal is to plan on getting another one out of this year's budget. So again, we can spread those out, not buy them all at the same time. The car replacement I talked to you about. Well, the current new car that we got was about $8,000 to upfit that car and for new lighting. So that would potentially come out of this. If we can proceed through with the car at the end of this year. Another piece of equipment that would potentially be for a new car, a new radar. Those are easier, I want to say, to put in a car when you're building it, because all those wires are ran behind the dash. Instead of putting an old one in and then having to upgrade that. The handguns are still on the horizon for this year. We did get the shotguns updated and we got those replaced, but the handguns are slated for still this year. And then that would come also with your holsters and your duty pouches for your ammo pouches.
Do you normally trade in your?
We do. We'll at least get it figured into the quote. And then a lot of times those vendors will allow the departments to reach out to the officers and allow those officers to buy their service weapon back if they want to, at what the trade value is. But it's usually added on the quote.
Yeah.
And Larry worked with me. Was that the first part of this year or the end of last year that we did get quotes for the handguns? And with our trades, it wasn't a significant amount. I don't know what the number is offhand, and I don't necessarily need it.
464.
For a new gun, and then they figured in like,
464?
yeah. And they were giving us like
Glock or 6?
Glock.
a few hundred,
It's,
yeah.
it's standard.
Yeah.
For law enforcement. It doesn't matter which model it is. That's what their law enforcement price is.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Yeah, and that was the price of the gun, you know, then you still need to trade it in, or figured in the trading value, so it wasn't a significant amount to upgrade us all to new handguns.
I know we did that, laptop upgrades and that you had to keep going.
Uh-huh.
And I know, there were some other things you wanted to modernize. Do you think 20,000 is enough here, Chad? To keep going with old software, old whatever? Do you
So
guys feel good about that number?
what's still, we increased contractual services last year because we talked about things that were gonna be upgraded that would flip over to a subscription fee. One of those that I want to try to get done out of this year, since we budgeted in there, is our car camera system. So our car camera system is currently operating on a very old system where it's just a program on a standalone computer. And the vendor does not even offer that anymore. Everything is like cloud-based, and with that comes subscription fees. But we're happy with the vendor that we have, some of the features that it has. I don't know that other vendors offer that. And it's a very helpful tool with some of those features that I call it WatchGuard because that's currently what our camera system is, but WatchGuard has been bought out a few years ago by Motorola. But upgrading our car camera system, which is probably going to be flipped over to that cloud base, and that's going to incur subscription fees for every car. And do that under the 26 budget. And some of the funds that I want to use for the 27 budget is then bring on a policy and incorporate body cameras into that. Use the same vendor. So use the remaining of 26 here with the funds that we have and get our existing system upgraded. And that way in 27, we can just add on to that instead of trying to retro. You don't want to
If
go
you
retro.
guys, if you feel like among you three, you're comfortable with making some of those upgrades with that number.
I've also, on here, you'll probably see a new fund that you've not seen in quite some time, to us, 2015, the CCI fund. It's just been sitting, accumulating. It doesn't get a whole lot each year. It's like a couple thousand each year, but we've got like 75,000 in it, and that you can use for equipment. And so I've actually put a line item in. I just threw in $20,000 to cover, some of the equipment that Chad wants to get next year. So it's not necessarily coming out of this budget, and I feel comfortable, using these funds for, one-time purchases versus
Yeah.
operation.
So that makes sense.
So we did, so there's another 20 grand outside of
Oh, that's great.
Chad's budget.
That's great. That was my worry, is
Yeah.
it won't come enough.
Tasers would be something that we would also be looking at potentially next year. The current taser model that we are using, I believe they're not supporting the cartridges or the batteries anymore. Have you heard that as well? Yeah. So they're still out there. You can still find them, but I guess if I can, they phase it out, so you have to buy new stuff.
You want to buy all those, when we talk, you want to get everybody on the same at once. That's not something you phase.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
like
makes
the,
sense.
like the
Yeah.
computers and stuff, I really want to get on a rotation. When it comes to that type of equipment, you want to have the officers carrying the same thing.
Yeah.
Especially when we go to training. You don't want to have this guy train on this model of a taser and this guy trains on a different model of a taser. So unfortunately, those types of purchases with that kind of equipment, everybody has to switch. There are certain things that we can phase in and get on a rotation. So tasers potentially for next year, in addition of the body cameras next year. And then if we can get the handguns this year, we've already got the shotguns, and then put the rifles on the list for next year. It's also part of that contractual services is our car camera system is probably going to be switching all to subscription and cloud-based. If I can get everybody's smartphones, our dispatch center has an operations application you can put on your phone. And it's a lot easier when you're out of the car and you're on the field and say you want to you need to snap a couple photographs right away. It's not putting them just on a phone, it's going into a field ops and goes right in and upgrades or uploads to your system. So, a lot more efficient, but there's times that you're out of the car and you're on a scene and you don't have time to stop that and get back to the car and grab your camera and all your evidence equipment. You might just need to be snapping a couple photos. Of course, that comes with subscription fees. A couple years ago, we tried a pilot program, took 2 out of our 5 portable radios and put them on a feature, what's called Smart Connect. So as you guys have probably heard, there's some radio connectivity issues with the 800 megahertz system and connecting to a radio, or excuse me, connecting to a tower. Down here, we bounce amongst all of the surrounding county towers. The corners of the county, us and Bremen, I think particularly are the areas that have the worst because we're bouncing off of different towers and we have connectivity issues. And when those towers go offline, we may be connected to, say, the Bass Lake Tower, and it goes offline, it doesn't communicate to the Tillman Tower, and we can't get to our dispatch center. So they have what's called a Smart Connect feature. And what that does is it allows you to program Wi-Fi in. And so the communications director around the county went in to the schools, to the major factories where you may be in a building and your portable radio doesn't work. And he got them to put in like a guest network on their Wi-Fi to display an SSID number that's programmed to all the radios. And as soon as an officer goes and walks into a factory that's a metal building, you're not going to get any radio connectivity, it would connect to that building's Wi-Fi and your radio would work through that. We have them, the 2 that we have been piloting with, we also program in our Wi-Fi pucks that we use for the connectivity for our computers in our cars. And if the system goes down, I can get my portable radio to connect to that puck and carry it around in my pocket and have radio connectivity. So that those, of course, come with a subscription fee. I don't know why, because it's not like it has a SIM card in there, but that's how the vendor works. But there may be some possibilities of funding that's out there through another entity that's working on upgrading radios, very similar to like the public safety grant that's out there. So I don't have all the information on it. I don't want to speak out of turn, but there may be some upgrades coming down the future. But if not, I would like to take our radios and at least get them so we have some good communication connectivity. And I think it was like $100 a radio per year. But again, it's all those small subscription fees they start to add up. But that's why we kept the contractual services and such at the same. Training, we still kept it the same. Larry's our training officer. We can teach general as well as motor skill. He's a firearms instructor, but I would still like to get the other officers within the department to go to instructor development, at least because they're generalists. I think Larry would like to do a lot more things with the firearms range. If we can get some equipment and just instead of just going out there and shooting at a target, maybe implement, and that would come out of the training budget. So when you have trainers in-house, it's great. We don't have to rely on every other agency, which is what we've had to do. And we still do because we don't have an instructor in every psychomotor skill. But I think we would like to do some more stuff with firearms training.
Chad,
Yes,
where are you on the 5th now?
I'm going to be coming to you folks tomorrow and asking for you to allow me to post that position. So I guess we're in on a work session. We're not gonna take any official movement here, but I guess it's a good time to talk. So before Wayne left, we had a hiring process going. Okay, the whole goal was to get that started, so we were not such in a downtime. 70% of our applicants that we invited to test didn't show up. So I was, I didn't have a lot of, a big market to choose from. And so that process just didn't yield anybody. So then when I took over, it was our busy time. I didn't have a number two. And so there's some potential that I can post within house. And that's what I'll be coming to you folks with tomorrow, asking to post that position. I didn't want to go through this year being short. And I'm very grateful for the part-time guys that we have because they did step up. Because not only did we go through the summer being short the full-timer, we were short 2 full-timers before being on medical. So, that's actually coming tomorrow.
I asked Chad to do that, even though council's approved the 5th position under Wayne. It's been a while. And we would like to do the internal posting, is what Chad approached me with. And he also has some plans with the current staffing, trying to get some flexibility for investigatory reasons and some really nice ideas, but it's an essential part of his plan. So if we could do that sooner than later, that's why he approached it. So it's time.
This time. I'm happy to get Larry in his position because I can start to transition some of the stuff that's been on my plate. And bringing that 5th person on board will actually be able to fill the schedule so that I can actually have some flexibility to come in and train people in the position. Some of that's the difficulty. So when you have 4 and you can cover the schedule, that's the minimum you have. The stuff that I was doing in my position as a number 2 person for 25 years in that position, which included all the secretarial stuff. Because when I started 28 years ago, we had a full-time secretary. That position got cut down to part-time, and then it was eventually faded out to nothing. I just took over those duties. Though every officer does their own reports, you still have to have one person in that central records division to make sure everything is where it needs to be, so nothing gets missed. So we can train the officers, this is what they need to do, but you need to have one person that's reviewing, making sure that the files get filed where they need to do, make sure they get to the proper agencies that you need to get filed with. So that was part of the positions that I was doing was in there. Now I've added a lot more things to my plate, but I just can't say, here, Larry, do it. I have to show him and teach him some of the stuff that I was doing. Now that he's in that position, now I can start to transition some of those responsibilities that I had onto him being in a leadership in a ranked position, that I have to be able to have time to work with him. This when we don't work together, I can't teach him anything. So that's another crucial point about trying to get this going with that 5th guy now that we have Larry in his position, and I can be able to then be free a little bit to come in and work with other officers and train them in a different role that I want them to take.
I eventually get a guilt-free vacation. Should be nice.
I did. So yes, perfect timing to bring that up. It's actually on part of my line item for tomorrow's on my agenda for.
Okay, thank you. What we're commonly referred to as the show.
I was given a half hour and that's where I'm at.
This day in history, kids, they love that.
We should be
Well done,
getting
sir.
over
Well done.
under every.
There you go.
Oh, my God.
He's
Under. Jenny, these 2 are easy money. Come on, make it hard.
Is the increase is 5%.
Yeah.
Which is under the LWQ per se, so. Nice to
Be right where
be
you
where we're at.
live.
I assume the 5th man's in the salary.
That's what Karen's from.
Plum, plum, plum.
It,
Okay.
I think it has been a while. We just have never been
it,
able to.
you know, it really
It-
has,
it has-
because every year we think we're gonna hire, so,
Yeah,
it's been budgeted and we,
they probably come out short at
Oh,
the end of the year.
We
on
come
their
out looking
budget.
great, like.
Right.
look at that. Chad's
Might
super
actually
funny.
Use your budget in full next year.
Yeah, next year's gonna be a shock.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to watch it really close to the end.
Thanks, sir.
You bet me.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry. Everybody needs a Larry.
Everybody's.
I got Larry. That's right, Repco presents Pocket Larry. Heck, now you'll get 2 Larrys. That's what I extra cost. Thanks. Oh. You know, we're in a flood zone today.
What's that?
Nothing. You know that we've had rain, a lot of rain lately? Yeah. Wow. Good work. Oh my gosh. 9 calls. Storm great.
People are stupid.
No, they're not. They're just people.
All right,
All right.
so Bob's got 3. Well, I actually have 5 to review.
I know.
But, so let me preface this I've done this for the last couple of years, of putting together a water and sewer budget, but I've just not presented it to you guys, nor have I put it on the budget application. I figured now was the time to do it, so. If the budget falls under home rule. So I don't think, it's not one that they, like the biology app is watching and they're gonna approve or not approve. But I just wanted to get those numbers out, and typically it's a little bit of an increase over what we've been doing. So honestly, not a ton of thought has gone into the water store, but I can follow, I track the expenses. So I just wanted to throw that out, but since he is the one that comes in,
It's always been weird too, because like Bob gets paid out of all 3, right?
yeah.
Some of them is to several. of us.
Damon,
Yeah, Bob, Damon, Jerry, and Kevin get paid out of those 3. Julie gets paid out of the clerk, water, sewer. And I'm gonna propose that Christine also get paid out of clerk, water, and sewer, but there's more to that discussion once we get to the clerk's budget.
okay,
So
makes sense. Yeah,
Mine's super simple. Super simple. I don't know why you made me follow that. The only thing that we can really control, well, lease purchase goes up 11.9, but that's for sweeper payment.
kind of moved around a little bit.
Yeah,
That's why.
it really is. The equipment line item went up 19,000. That's some equipment I want to add to our backhoe and our small loader that we have. I may try to squeeze that in this year, but getting quotes from people here lately. Questions you have?
this contract services up just for more subscription based stuff coming up.
That and based on what's been spent so far halfway through the year.
Well, that's all snow, snow
And
days.
yeah,
So if we have a light year, that might not be as much.
Right, we had a
The
heavier,
contract for snow removal on sidewalks,
yeah.
not really got it this year.
Yeah, we had 1 month that was kind of bloody
Mm-hmm.
or
not
with
great.
snow, no less, but
The equipment purchases for the backhoe, the clam bucket and then the air hammer come in handy, especially on repair jobs on the street. Maybe quick as some, one with the ladybug too gives us mobility, right?
It does.
Yeah.
yeah, I can't believe how low our equipment line item used to be.
But I have a backer that's almost 20 years old, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
take care of it and try to get it as far as we can.
Yeah,
That's coming up. What we, 28 conversation.
Probably.
Yeah.
so we'll probably have 20 or 30,000 in equipment for a couple of years, sounds like.
Well, the backer from out of it, so, and that's a $600,000 purchase.
That's why it's. Get
You
ready.
said 2 years for the conversation and then purchase.
It takes a year once I order it to get it. So if we order it 2089,
2029, said.
that's a huge purchase.
How old's the tractor?
It's 2007.
See the classic.
That's when I started. 19 years ago.
I think it's still
I've
operating.
replaced every piece of
God,
equipment at
no,
least
but-
once.
Replacements, yeah.
Replacing replacements.
It's time to go.
Easy.
We need replacement. We need to budget that, $500,000. At least I'm worth that.
Just run what,
Replacement parts?
run what you brung, go.
I hear we can get off
I
brand
need
for
that much
cheaper.
work.
I think shoulders are about that.
Yeah.
Right.
So then you want us to look at water sewer next?
Yeah, I mean, I factor in the typical salaries, longevity benefits. For water, there's just one employee that comes out of water for longevity. And then there's 2 that come out of sewer, and that's not, yeah, 2 that come out of sewer. Yeah,
For the Josh that comes out. Water and.
Josh's water,
Yeah.
that entire. sewer.
Yeah.
So basically, I've kind of looked at what we spent last year, what we spent so far this year, and made, some minor adjustments.
Are most of these salary line items, what percent is that increase? for
We
each
took,
of-
we took a 3% based on the median salary of the full-time employees. So,
Kind of same system we've been using for the last 2 years and so far so good.
and I wasn't sure where the council was gonna fall on that, so we just kind of hit it there. And from what I'm seeing on the listserv, that's kind of where people are falling as well.
Yeah, and I mean, they're all over, from what I'm getting, it's all over the place from 0 to 4 being the highest, but 4 is very rare. And some of your larger municipalities and probably if you had to shoot an average 2.6, 2.3, somewhere in there, probably will end up being the state average, which is behind the seniors, cost of living. But the reality of this state budget stuff is hit hard, and I think the fear factor is kicking in, a lot of conversations.
Yeah, there's some municipalities are freezing everything, or they're just freezing capital projects.
Yeah, you're in the same thing.
And we don't usually learn our insurance increase until like November, right?
No, actually, so health insurance, I found that out on Monday. It's a 3.3% increase.
Oh, that's not bad.
My budget number that they gave me was 9, and we're actually below the average. I think the average increase for the trust was 3.5. We came in at 3.3. So
They came out with the number pretty quick.
they usually do. Since it's a trust, they know our cycle. And so typically being in August is when they put that out. The other insurance number I'm waiting for is property and liability, and that big bill that comes. And that Joe emailed me last week, I think, and said he's got it coming. So once I get that, I can hone in a little bit more. So hopefully it won't go up too much, but I tried to increase all of them.
Yeah.
At least a little bit based on what it was last year. So. And then knowing we're going into some projects like with the sewer, probably a lot of the expenses for the engineering will come out of the bond. So I didn't necessarily put that in here. But also did not build in a bond payment, so. But again, this isn't something where we need to go for the additional appropriation.
Yeah.
Type of thing. It's more just a guideline and to just be transparent too, like this is where the money's going that you're paying for utility rates. So.
kind of bond just feels so different outside of the real regular budget.
But one question, just go back to street for a second. And your salaries.
Yep.
That obviously includes your part-time people.
Yes.
Do you need more part-time people?
Use mine. I could use another one, yes.
Is there room in there for another one or?
Possibly. I mean, we took it. Right now, I think it's just one
It's just one,
because
because
that's what,
historically, that's all we can find. Finding summer seasonal help is hard to do.
Okay,
And we used to get two all the time. It gets harder and harder every year to find somebody. Historically, the last 2-3 years, I can only find one. So we just dropped it to one. But
One thing that is in conversation with Crystal and Bob, and Crystal approached me, I approached Bob, there's some appetite to find and explore, is maybe kind of forming a general pool for labor for the parks and for Bob for mowing, stuff like that, using kind of cross, like if we can, picking up brush, running, stuff like that, if we can get that kind of explored and understood, maybe there's potential there. But it was nice just to see it, thinking about it differently and what we can do. But again, sometimes it's just enough to get the park maintenance and Bob's trying to get brush picked up and that's it.
that's my biggest, brush and mowing is my
Yeah.
biggest battle. Because it takes one person full time, 40 hours a week to pick up brush and mow grass. I don't know, I think they import the crop, but it's every day there's a pile somewhere.
It's nice with this year because Harrison's gonna be able to stay on later. A lot of times we lose them. Leaf season comes, I think, yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure exactly, but it'll be at least to the end of August. I'm not sure much farther after that. So that helps.
Good.
then we also have money from MVH, which is MVH and MVH restricted, but DLGF looks at it just as just one. So those are supported by state distributions, and then local roads and streets. Same situation, basically budgeted for local roads and streets, budgeted what we expect to get. For MVH, we still have 2 more years on the street sweeper. So I'm taking money out of there as well for that, the annual payment. And then that money is used for paving projects.
Sometimes matching CCMG.
It's the paving money that we have in here won't even keep up with deterioration if we didn't have.
I was
some
gonna say, it's
So
not a
we're
lot
in-
of money.
Yeah, we're into the fall.
Well, I'm gonna do an application September 1st. I have everything I need now. I just need, when it opens, I'll start.
We're up for another review on phase or 2 this year. Make probably on there. Get that done.
Yep.
I guess why you're there too. Sidewalk program. I've got 15,000 budgeted.
The last few years, it's been.
That's what we've had, and I don't know that we've gone over the last couple of years.
I think there's 1, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was just a little tiny bit.
Yeah. If we can get them in.
I'm comfortable with the way it is. If we need to ask, them, we can.
Yeah, it seems like we never ever got to that 25 that we used to do. Unless we had like our own special project, like when we did the Miller sidewalk.
I think when we started that years back, you had a lot more people applying.
It seems fewer.
Yeah.
this year at least. I haven't been around long enough to know the whole.
It seems like people expect more of us than.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of issues I get are complaints about curve right now. And
Yeah,
it's
we
amazing
do
because
have
they
a lot
notice
of
it during water.
Yeah, well, there's the west side of town, we don't even have curbs, right?
There's quite a few miles of that street to be.
Going north too.
Wayne and I noticed it when we drove the roads to match the parking ordinance to the signage and,
It's not cheap quicker.
oh, yeah.
That's why we mill off on the pave to gain some of that back.
Mhm.
Futile. Get what we can.
Every inch counts.
Pretty much.
We could do a curb program at some point, but
It's in the sidewalk program.
would 15,000 toward curbs, if we did our own projects, make any kind of dent?
Not much.
15,000 divided by.
Literally a dead, so you're right.
One side of a block?
Probably $30 a foot, probably. Maybe a little more.
Yeah, really good at
I mean, over time, but.
So does the glacier over time.
The irony is we put in 15,000 of trees every year. But eventually push through the sidewalks and curbs.
Yeah. We're kind of at war with ourselves. Thank tree commission.
According to our arborist, our old arborist, putting limestone stops.
Oh,
That's why that's in our spec. Trees don't like limestone. Trees are in the center of Indiana.
so we're not really fighting ourselves.
Yeah, we
I
are.
think we are.
Yeah, we are.
The line.
I was gonna say,
My brain is,
We are.
the sidewalk that you guys put in front of our house. That one
Yeah.
popped out, like right by the tree that was just recently planted. So,
We'll take on.
I'm pretty sure the tree in my front yard's holding up part of my house.
They used to call those ramps.
There used to be
up
when
by
they were holding up the kitchen
Yeah.
until we took it out. It was completely underneath the
Well,
kitchen.
Just so the council knows, the pine tree on Lake Shore, she's a coming down across from Mike Stallings' house.
It's dated to 20 years ago.
That giant pine tree that sits up there.
It's the biggest pine tree in town. It's probably the only pine tree in town. It's huge.
So I'm sure I'm gonna have a fan club on that one. Yeah, the homeowner's happy and a lot of
That's
people,
what matters.
and people say it's.
We don't have someone come to us again and say that the trees are crying and haunting her nightmares.
Then you're done.
Yeah. That lady was a tree hugger. They
Yes,
say,
she's very upset when we took down the dead trees.
Yeah.
And then sold them for, or traded them, bartered them for some handyman. Yeah. Takes all kinds.
Yeah, any other questions on water and sewer? For street?
Looks like we went way up on gas or something for, was it sewer?
This could be fairly straight.
But that's
Yeah.
just based on
Might be.
what we've used so far, it makes sense.
Also,
Well, we don't discuss.
Mhm.
yeah, you don't know if it's going up or.
Oh,
That's the only
I'm
thing.
just
that
gonna
really
put
went
that
up
in, that one,
significantly.
Sally, I'm saying it's,
Yeah.
he ain't coming down once they get in your pockets.
And chemicals went up, but that could be. Yeah,
Well, 2027, it'll be this.
as I say,
28, maybe 29 for sure. We'll be talking a different song.
yeah, it could be a whole different budget.
To answer your question, Sally, several hours. And it's an hour and a half away, so you probably won't be back till 2:30. ADD.
Well, I thought I jumped there, but I actually knew where he was going.
Yeah, the
That's-
tour you're talking about, isn't that far away?
It's an hour and a half.
I thought it was near Shipshewana.
It
Yes, but
is.
it's an hour and a half
Hour and a
away.
half
I don't know how you drive, Jenny, but
If you got electric Jeep, it takes 2.
gotta let that go, Bob. It's starting to hurt a little bit.
Because Millbury takes
Out there.
I think it's just,
But Sally, we get to go to the Blue Gate up there for dinner. If we gotta go to Topeka, we're gonna go to Blue Gate for dinner.
It's too bad I
Okay.
can't go. I could write that one off.
Say,
on
what
the
time, what time did you think we were gonna get back?
I'm guessing 2:30 somewhere.
AM or PM?
I like the way you think, Sally. Think Sally has
His
some-
dinner is our lunch.
Yeah.
3 hours
So-
of drive, no, it's gonna be like.
Dinner is lunch, people. Supper's the evening. Get it right.
Yeah.
Didn't grow up on a farm, did you?
Dinner and supper are the same.
I reckon.
Lunch is lunch.
You do you, Bob.
I'm going.
All right.
Poppers.
Anyway, we digress.
Even better is breakfast for them.
See?
Oh, that's French toast.
I just wanted to know if I needed to have them keep my dog overnight.
Oh, we're not gonna order.
Depends how crazy you wanna get
I
with
was
me,
gonna
say.
I know this bus is coming back at 2:30, 3:00.
But hey, I'm game. What do you got in mind?
All right. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Did you check about a bus?
No. But I think we're talking with Bob today. Mark Sullivan said if we need to, he could come over. He's got room for what,
He's got
5 or 6 people, so I don't think
Okay.
we'll need a bus bill.
You get a party bus.
What?
Stop.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going, but I'm there to work.
So you're saying dinner is actually lunch?
Yes.
Yes, Sally.
That makes sense.
Thank you. Just
See,
reconcile.
There's two to one now.
You're gonna get there.
I said dinner, not supper.
Dinner and supper is.
Yes.
anybody else on?
No,
How many
Water
people-
Super
how many
Street.
people are going?
I'm planning.
probably about 5, I think, probably, if the numbers correct. And yeah, City, yeah. Sorry. Those days.
I don't see any red flags on any of those 3.
Yeah. I didn't see anything that looked out of whack, so.
Okay.
We try to stay in that. So.
Yeah.
She whacks. Karen is a big whack supporter.
It's like,
But this is just a big guess.
yeah,
And back to permission to spend, and we're not planning to spend all of it, so.
yeah, right.
But, okay. So then. Trying to figure out if I want to back sort this. Oh, let me do a couple. So if you go to page 4 in the packet that you have, on the, I've got, the CCD fund, and we got the
Okay.
15,000 for, the sidewalk program, got 10,000 built in for the Marshall County Economic Development Corporation. And that's, you all can discuss whether or not that comes to fruition or not, but it's at least in there. And then, $75,000 for the pier socket removal or replacement down at the park, because I think we're down to the last.
Yeah.
Set.
This year's gonna be a little bit more expensive than last year because we had the B socket material already manufactured. This year we got manufacturing costs, which Owen should be coming to ask for permission funds for the fabrication. And then there'll be the installation fee for that. So that's what that constitutes. That doesn't come out of the removal. And install.
So there's that, and that just takes the pressure off of the park fund too, because
Yeah.
we need to try very lately. there's also on the next page, on the back side of that page is the CCI fund, which we talked about earlier with the police, having the police, some of that police equipment paid for in that fund, but also some computer equipment. I've been in contact with South Shore. Chris was supposed to come today, but he's in Valpo and he had a bunch of customers that were in a world of hurt. So I was just like, it's fine. But he's recommending that we replace our server, because that's probably 10 years old. I don't think we've done anything since we first signed on with them, and that was about 14, 15, somewhere in there. And then some of the access points within this building he'd like to see replaced, as well as the park. So I threw $10,000 in there just kind of as a placeholder. He was going to get me some budget numbers, but I think it got lost in all of the shuffle of yesterday and today. So that's there, just so you know. And then thanks to House Bill 1001, we now get to have another fund in addition to all the other ones that we have. And this one is specifically for building and planning. So we can no longer receive any of the permit fees, any of the fees associated with zoning variances, planning hearings, any of that can no longer go into the general fund. We have to create a separate fund specifically for building. I don't remember what the exact name of it is, but it's something, whatever. It's a non-reverting fund, so we can't move, like at the end of the year, we can't receive all that money into that, and then at the end of the year, automatically move it to the general fund. That's a no-no too. I think what we can do though is either take expenses directly out of this fund or invoice this fund and then pay for expenses that we have in general. That's my hope, so that's why I've set this up the way I did with 10,000 in salaries, $1,000 for postage, and then $1,000 for printing and advertising. So postage is for all the mailings that we have to send out whenever we have any sort of BZA or zoning hearing or planning hearing. The printing and advertising, again, actually that may come down, definitely printing, but the advertising, that law is changing next year, so we don't have to put advertisement into the Plymouth pilot anymore. We'll just have to advertise it or have a notice on our website and outside. So that's probably a little extra. And Kevin and I talked today, he's going to kind of start tracking some of his time as far as like when he's going on a site visit, phone calls, that sort of thing, so that we can just invoice. We'll send an invoice from the town to this fund and then we'll reimburse ourselves. I'm hoping that is kosher. If it's not, then we'll have to figure something out.
Does that mean you don't want to hire a replacement for Steve?
No, that doesn't, that's not what it means.
Yes.
What I don't want.
I'm just asking.
No, I love you. What I'm finding is, here's my fear: if we don't get somebody competent, it just creates a quagmire
Yes.
of indecision.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable because I root myself in the ordinances, and I have a good relationship with the Marshall County Planning and Building. And to be honest with you, with them doing the inspections work and everything else, with a competent plan commission at BZA I have, it's not bad. Doing the site visits is healthy for me to take a look at things like line of sight, drainage, that kind of stuff, and trying to be proactive in our ordinances so we can make sure, like the ADU stuff and everything, it has been beneficial. So to be honest, if we could find another Steve Gorski, I would be the first one driving him into town.
Would that end up being in this line item, Karen?
I don't know that what we get in from the building permits would support completely that person's pay. So it probably would have to be split between the two. So that may be something that we'll have to revisit.
Okay.
Hopefully, once we find somebody.
Yeah, I'm just thinking you might.
And
want
yeah,
that
and I-
money.
We'll have to do some adjustments.
To be honest with you, and Carrie's question the other day is true, but we can put the advertisement out there. They're not coming. And it's not just Culver, it's across the board. And
Yeah,
a lot of
it's-
counties,
The
a lot of
state
small
actually.
municipalities are giving up over to the county.
Yeah.
which is a luxury they have, but we can't do it here in Culver because of the complexities of the lake and the academy and where we're at, right? So in the interim, it's not like I've given up. It's just maybe get it back out there again. I don't know, but for now, it's not been too bad.
Well, it's not like you want to spend money to advertise it every month.
Well, right, and right, Sally.
Get nobody,
Nobody
replies.
knocking on it, right?
I just wonder if it needs to, we need to shift our way of thinking about that position in terms of like, okay, we know we have capital projects constantly going on. More coming with Lakeshore Drive corridor, et cetera. Like, do we need you to have an assistant the way our clerk has a deputy clerk?
But in a
That
sense,
would be more project management that could help with the logistics of this stuff, or
yeah, but for now,
I don't know where you put them.
splitting the administration with all the assistants, having an extra, I mean, I guess, I mean, Christine's done a lot for the mailing and stuff, and Karen does the legals, and it's cooperation. When you know this, town manager, a lot of town managers manage their own planning and BZA boards anyway. So, and it's folded up underneath their job description. And to be honest, I'm gonna be at the meeting anyway, and it's been really enjoyable. I mean, for the most part, until somebody decides they want their way on a piece of property, and then it becomes interesting, but I think we got that resolved, but it's one of those things that I don't, in being able to pull it out of the general budget and not having that expense this year has been good, because honestly, the prioritization of bringing Christine on and knowing what's ahead on the utility stuff with the water meters coming online, the different projects that we have, bolstering that position and making sure that that supports there, it's probably more of a priority, and it's allowed for that more. And Chad needs administrative assistance over in the police department as well. And it definitely needs that more. So I like to think things have not been missed. Things have been really good. We've adjudicated cases. Marshall County's been very supportive, and so I think we're okay for now. So until the necessity really demands it, right now I think we're okay. And I think there's other areas where we could put those resources.
I think that's fair, Kevin. I mean, if we just wanted, if Christine wanted more hours and we wanted to go that route.
Just hold that thought, hold that thought. We're gonna get to that in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where my mind is going. If she seems to have a great skill set to do a lot of things, kind of the way Julie does a lot of things. So, okay, I like where you guys are headed then.
Oh, yep. So, which is a great, like you just opened the door.
Good lead in.
Yeah. So, one of the things that we would like to do is bring Christine on full time. In anticipation of, Julie has expressed the desire to retire in the next couple of years. And she's very conscious of, wanting to leave the office in a good position and not just up and leaving that vacuum of knowledge that often comes. Yeah, and continuity too. So she's been training Christine, but at the same time, she has taken on a lot of stuff for the planning and zoning. And Chad has expressed a desire to have somebody back in the office. And so we talked a little bit when we were discussing budgets, and we haven't fleshed it out, but sooner than later, we'd like to bring her on to work part-time in our office, part-time for Chad. It would mean she would go over to the police department, maybe we'd split the day, because she can't do stuff for him and bring it. She can't be in our office doing stuff for him.
Yeah.
Because just of the sensitivity of nature of that stuff.
Yeah.
But for now, just to make it easy, I told him I already budgeted for an increase in hours for Christine plus insurance in my budget. And then once we kind of flesh out the details, we can, do some switching around. And also at the end of the day, it all comes out of the general fund. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna loosely go with
She's
that
kind
part.
of a shared service.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, part of me would like to get that done yet this year and maybe in the next month and a half or so, to bring her on, because especially with stuff that's going on with utilities and bringing up those meters and, you know, there's just a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, there's gonna be a ton of data entry.
Actually, well, yes and
really.
no, we're gonna, yeah, we actually, I think we
But wait.
saved Julie. Yeah, we've had a couple meetings in the last month. We're gonna go ahead and just pay to have hydrocoders basically, as is gonna provide a file to Amston. And Amston will be able to just dump it all into their system, so there's not gonna be manual entry. I just, between the time, the stress, and just the, you know, and the stress, and just the manual entry, and, you know, we're all human, so there's gonna be, you know, that mistake. It's gonna save us a lot, just to have them take care of it, so. I think Julie's a little,
She feels a lot better.
she, yeah, there's some relief there,
Giant sigh, really.
yeah. So
We're getting ready to change over 900 meters. That would
Yeah.
end each. I think it's an 8-digit number twice. So it would have been a lot.
Yeah.
So a bulk dump is process.
But more and more Julie's, you know, passing things off to Christine and showing her how to do stuff. At the same time, it just feels like it's not slowing down in our office, and there's just, which, you know, I owe you all an apology, because I really would hope that the budget season would go a lot smoother than it has, and like, I wouldn't be giving this to you the day of. It just
Is with it.
So
It seems like there's so many more people in town now too, like all the
And I
time.
expect more.
yeah,
It's,
that's,
yeah, it's a lot and they don't understand. I'm preaching to the choir. Sorry, guys.
No, I get it. Like even our side streets, when I'm driving to town hall, they're just fuller. It's just more, there's more traffic, there's more people.
And that's
Which
the
is-
intention.
it's a good thing,
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But it just, with that brings a lot more
A lot of
activity in the
growing
office,
pains.
and a lot more just, in that, I want to use the word distraction in the proper, you know, if you're working and someone comes in, obviously, you know, we're gonna take care of them, but then it's also another 10-20 minutes to get back to what you were doing, and then, you know, so there's a
Yeah,
lot,
you're constantly up and down at the window.
yeah,
And that's where Christine is actually really valuable,
Yeah.
because she puts out those immediate fires, and it's freed up Julie to be able to focus on the utility stuff, especially in the mornings and stuff, but, and the triaging phones, and they've been really good too about, well, I don't know if Kevin's in, and I get really quiet.
It helps to have a gatekeeper. who's
You gotta have a
protected.
filter.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely.
So the extra hours is part of what is in your salary and your
yes.
benefits.
Yeah, and that's
here.
why it's,
Okay.
it's increased a little bit more than, so. The other, and actually overall, my budget decreased by 10%. So, taking out, I decreased contractual services a bit, because we're, you know, things are just getting shifted around. I had to take out the $10,000 for planning and zoning, that got shifted to its own spot. And then also in the unappropriated decrease, because my audit was completed. I'm guessing with the sewer bond coming up, they may have to come in and do an audit of 25. So I just left $5,000 in there for an audit, but if it's just 2 years, it shouldn't be too bad. So, left money in there for equipment. The Make My Move, I left that in there. We've never touched that money. But just in case, I think it was a 5-year commitment.
It is.
So just keeping that in place, and then the dispatch, that went up, $255, and I just keep it in the budget because it affects police, EMS, and fire, and to try to negotiate who pays what. It was just a lot easier to put it in mind.
Yeah. Was Steve's salary
I took Steve's salary
out?
out.
That's right. That's the salary difference, right? Up
Yeah.
above there. We actually cut that out. And
Yeah.
That helps. Bring Christine. That's one of the things.
Should we go ahead and increase visitor center to the 34,000, I think is the number she gave us? today. Tracy did. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't.
You don't think, or you
I
don't?
mean, no, I'm not being sarcastic. I know this is rare, but I haven't really contemplated it. Like, I don't know what to think about that, guys.
I think I'm so irritated with Marshall County tourism that, oh, we put money in from CRC, we put money in from the town, and we're generating, I'm sure, these tourist dollars, and they just don't come back to us. It sucks.
Number one, and the one thing that I'm wondering is what's the cost what's the cost benefit right now of the model we have and the people that's running it? I mean, I talked to Liz from Riverboat Lane and she's on the board now, and Kevin Van Horn, and they were at the academy today with the table. Liz says we need to keep promoting it. We're the only ones out there marketing it right now. So we can't have Marshall County tourism. I mean, we do and we don't, right? So if they're our only source of marketing, that becomes the question. Okay, so do we have to fund it? Like, are they generating enough in?
There's no doubt in my mind we have to.
All right, well, the thing is, like, a couple of things that are frustrating me, I'm sorry, that's a really poor choice of words, but one of the things I'm questioning is, are we using our festivals strategically, and is there development there? Are they being managed correctly? Especially with Lake Fest and how that's running. That's one question I have. And then what are we doing online with the marketing stuff? And I've heard mixed things about what's happening with that. And so can we get more out of that? Right? Those are the questions I have, I guess, and don't have answers to, but I know they're trying to encourage Lucy to do more with that and see where that goes. But yeah, I guess I don't know what the alternative is.
Is this current board relatively new, Kevin? I know there was turnover since.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much spanking new to the better point of it. And there's some good people. I mean, Liz coming on board helps, but she's busy with business and she's got a great mind for it. I guess I said it to Karen, I can see this transitioning into something different with a more economic development sense to it, but we're not there yet. I mean, we're down the line. So in the interim, what do we do? Right? We may have outgrown this a little bit, need something different, but we're just not there yet. I don't know what that different is. I've heard people talking, that's all. So
I definitely.
that was a long answer to that. I don't know.
We have seen more. Like with Lake Fest and some of the festivals, the volunteers have fallen off. There used to be a lot more people volunteering to do those things. And it's not something, I don't know why, but it's not just us, it's across the board. And maybe it's that the younger generations don't see that as a cost for them or a thing they want to do. I don't know.
Well, do people expect more?
Yeah.
Every year it seems like they expect more.
The people who are with our visitor center at Tracy, people are good. I mean, they care, they work hard. It's not a question of that. They have trying to do good ideas and do some things like Second Saturday, some different things. It's just like you said, and also with Lake Fest. I mean, it's not a lack from Justin caring. It's just not a lot of people helping, right? And there's a lot of things on his plate, and that was difficult. You got to account for that. And
the thing is if the fewer volunteers you have, as we experienced at EMS, the more stressed the ones you have are and overworked to the point where it kind of cascades.
That's it. You're right, Sally. And I think that's where Lake Fest was this year with Justin. I mean, I've talked to him about it. A lot of that. You're 100% right. So, I always want to be fair, and I don't know how we can support better, but in the interim, I guess, they're doing the yeoman's work because nobody else is right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of work through that. Thanks.
So do you want to move the 30,000 to 34?
Well, I need to ask, and then you can still decide
Yeah,
Yeah.
what you want to do.
and then I don't remember where council and aging came out of one of the other funds.
That one comes out of the Riverboat. That Council on Aging and CYC both come out of Riverboat.
What was the ask from council of aging? 7?
They were 7,200.
And
And-
Russ made the pitch for the.
Yeah,
That's how we
inflation.
think.
I know he does.
And I do think the number of trips they're providing and what they do is really important,
I think we've done a lot of it.
Yeah, me too.
especially when I see, I mean, they're having real impact on a population here that really needs that.
We're getting it more increased on our age group,
Yes.
right? That demographic is growing and I think they are offering a really good service.
Well, I'll just say, like, I'm in support of whatever you decide. If we get too big, I'm probably gonna have to move it to some other
A
fund.
different fund.
Because we're drawing down the Riverboat fund. So, and it's not, we have a ways to go before it's gonna be depleted. Let's just put it that way, but.
What would be a comfortable?
Oh, I'm fine with whatever. I mean, we'll have. Oh, I know. Cause that was my one of my mistakes. Like right now, it'll probably end the year about 41,000. And we typically get it about $6,000. Okay, so. And then the lake gauge also comes out.
Yeah,
That kind
but you're right, Karen, eventually that 40 would get chipped away at.
Right,
Within 4 to 5 years, we'd be
yeah.
back to.
So we'll just need to find a different avenue by which to support them, which is fine. It's just Riverboat's kind of just been easy
of
when to throw it in. So. And to keep it there for New Year's.
What are you gonna say for Riverboat? Or for Council on Aging, sorry.
I don't have a problem with increase. I don't know how much we should.
Maybe to 9? 8 or 9? They're at 7,200.
$1,800. So if you do if you did it, you do a 50 at a 20% increase would be 1,500. Somewhere in there, right? Rough math.
Yeah.
Increase.
How much?
What did you say? What?
I said 1,500. That would be closer to 18%.
I mean, they did 884 over last year. That is
Yeah.
astonishing.
See,
There was a time it was less than 100 trips, wasn't it, Bob, early on?
it was, yes.
If you get 8,000, that's 9%.
That'd be about $10 a call that we'd be contributing toward.
That's 80%. It could be 9.
9?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if they end up doing around 900 calls, it's a flat, it's kind of $10 per trip. I can feel good about that.
And then the CBGC, it's in here, CBGC, but CYC.
Seriously,
See,
is that
CYC.
when they asked for $5,000? That
it used to be 5. Somebody must have told her it used to be 5.
I emailed her today and said it was 25, and it's been 25.
Yeah,
So,
it,
but
we cut it because, I mean, they were in really good financial shape. I think 2,500 is fine.
I didn't think that was the amount. For some reason, I didn't know.
I already worked my butt off to raise money for them, so
Listen,
I'll just write.
sing for your supper. No. Yeah, but
I'd rather write my own check than do 5. I'd rather have more go to Council on Aging,
yeah,
is
and
how I feel.
try to help them. They do have a good thing going with that
Yeah.
And with the daycare closing down, things are picking up some more traffic that way after school. Because they used to get relief from that, taking them over to the daycare till the parents pick them up, especially Academy. My suggestion, or I was gonna say it, but go knock on the Academy's door really hard.
Yeah. And also the county, they forget that they used to
That
get
was a
money
good
from the
suggestion.
county.
Yeah.
They need their knowledge continuity to stick with the program. Like I, as a past board member, shouldn't have to tell you that. But clearly,
There's no
she
doubt.
didn't know that.
No.
And they were giving significant money, which is one reason we were able to cut back our own.
There's still board members who have that. It's not helping.
That's because I'm old.
I met some.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the current.
True.
Yes, thank you, Sally. And I don't know how you got kind of old out of that statement.
Oh, yeah.
You remember when Kevin was down there?
Yeah, 2,500 to me and then 15,000 for tree commission made sense to me.
Yeah, well, and there's 15 grand in the street department budget too for tree removals, so.
For trees.
For trees.
And they're gonna spend, so they're probably gonna spend, let's say 12 grand on trees, because there's a couple maybe that they're gonna purchase for state tree on their own. So somewhere around 12 grand, there's 3 grand left. They'll spend it on mulch and some stuff, but and we don't know where we're at on the removal. We got the RF.
Some of them are pretty large, so.
Are
No,
we
there's-
obligated to make my move here anymore? I mean, I've never done anything with it, right?
No, but it's a 5-year contract. I think
Okay.
we're probably approaching the last year of that.
Okay.
If we haven't already, I'll be honest, we can look at it. I can find out.
Yeah.
Here, I can,
Oh,
let me see when we started budgeting.
there's a contract in there somewhere. Yeah.
Do you think that goes back to maybe your first
It
year,
was,
maybe last year?
Year last year.
2024 was the first year.
But you,
Okay.
but it was in place by then.
We got 2 more.
Okay. We haven't really ever used it, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Nobody's in light, so.
No.
No.
If there's people moving in from out, I mean, come on now.
You see it on the news in other communities.
Yeah, but I tell you what, when I went to South Bend meeting, they mentioned that they haven't gotten a lot of hits on it. It's not just us, it's overall. So,
They know about it.
I don't know.
I don't think people,
I don't think it's.
Do it anyway.
I mean,
I don't either,
if the
Sally.
realtors knew, they might get somewhere. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm sure it was somebody's great idea and
It was.
yeah,
and
they
it-
just didn't get the
Well,
logistics
it's
of
going around.
getting it.
just kind of small.
Yeah.
So, just, I think we hit all of the budgets that we needed to, as long as you're okay. I am gonna take one, I'm gonna look at the park budget. Because once I got everything compiled onto this big long sheet, park's not looking so hot, so, it may be a combination of bumping up some of the income and taking a look at if there's some line items that we can divert to other sources for payment. And then I'm gonna go ahead, just so that you all know, we do budget the geo bonds and it's a debt service. That's on there
Yep, there it is.
and stuff isn't really right, so let's try to put this together. It didn't quite pick out as I'd hoped. So, I mean, but that's like, we don't have any choice. There's a tax rate associated with it and a payment that we make, 2 payments that we make. Unsafe building, there's $63,666 in that fund right now. It gets a little bit of interest every month. I just went ahead and put $57,000 down. If we do any sort of demolition and there's really nothing on the horizon.
Immediately, yeah.
Right.
15, you said that.
It was, yeah, so. That one didn't go down happening. So, you see the building, opioid, restricted and unrestricted. I go ahead and appropriate those. That's pretty much what we're bringing in. I will say I had a conversation with Chad yesterday And I think when Marshall County Hope came in and made their request and it was approved for the unrestricted and restricted funds, he was, at that meeting, he was going to make a request to possibly use some of the unrestricted funds to purchase another AED for the police department. So I have a feeling Marshall County Hope will probably come in again and make a request for funding. I think we've ended up getting more, there've been a couple more lawsuits that have been settled, so we're getting a little bit more money than originally
I think we've
projected
had
out.
two go to Baker's.
Yes.
Okay, that type of thing.
So, so there's a little bit more money coming in, so there's probably money in there that we can support the purchase of an AED from the police department. They were just looking at getting another one, mainly because if someone's, overdosed, they're gonna shop for specific use. So, and Marshall County Hope is doing wonderful work. And I mean, we see it. Our church is one of the Celebrate Recovery locations, and it's just amazing the number of people that are coming and being helped. So it's not just that and David's. I mean, from a personal standpoint, our church also supports David's Courage and a couple that started it attend. So we hear stories from them too.
It's you talking with Linda Yoder too, like Linda just really has a way of framing that opioid problem. I mean, it is like, it is a major issue of the market. People just don't understand how big an issue it is. Well, most, we do, but a lot of people out there don't really get it.
There was really no viable solution other than David's Courage. Now,
Well, they've got David's Courage. There's another couple that in our church is starting this home for women. And that'll be opening soon.
well, that's
A lot of good stuff. But they're all, I think they're on board and so.
yeah.
I'm just trying to look through too. Grants, we really haven't done any major ones, and I don't know if the guys are gonna do the OPO Operation Pullover. So I just threw 3,000 in there. That's what I had. And then you can see the general fund, kind of how we're falling out. I don't have numbers for the county income tax, which would also be the lit. I don't know what that's going to be. I probably won't know until by August 15th. So right now,
Probably a month after the budgets are approved, they'll come out.
Yeah. Well, they come out 3 different times. They give you 3 different estimates too. So it's usually one in like August, one in October, and then the final one's in December, which is way past. But they're also scrambling right now too to figure out what income is for all these must-moves that have to take place too. So I put in the 553, 757, which is a little bit of an increase over last year. I'm hoping that it'll be a larger number. And then I included what the DLGF anticipates our circuit breaker credits to be, which is right around 48,878, which still is fairly low in comparison because our assessed value is so high, that it keeps the tax rates low. So it doesn't break, it doesn't initiate the circuit breakers. So right now, kind of looking loosely at 2,830,951. So 2,831,000. With everything that we discussed today, expenses looks like 3.1 million. So we're looking at a deficit of about 321,201. Right now, I think last year was the first year out of 5 or 6 that we went into the red and spent down the general fund and had similar, and it was because of the fire truck purchase in that we're paying that out. So I anticipate that it's not going to be quite that bad. That deficit will probably lessen once all the final numbers come out. One other thing I do want to talk to you about is I want to establish 2 funds similar to what Modeling does. I don't necessarily want to attach a tax rate to it, but I do want to start an EMS capital fund and a fire capital fund, so that every year we're putting money in, like automatically, we'll budget it in their in their funds. But then after the first of the year, we'll basically pay 40,000, whatever we have in this purchase, we'll pay $40,000 to EMS, the capital funds, and one to the EMS, one to the fire, so that it's obvious what
So it
money
builds
is
up,
set
yeah.
aside. So it builds up, like right now, I mean,
It's
we
not
have,
just general. fund
it's
money.
not just within the general
This is
fund.
specifically for you to get equipment that's expensive.
Yeah, and so I think that'll be easier to see, and then come the time when they're coming to us, because we know there's ambulance in the next couple of years. Whatever, obviously not as big of a next purchase for the fire department. But still want to just anticipate some of those costs without it responsibly. Like, I don't want to go crazy and stick a whole bunch of money in there so that they can buy another ladder truck, it's just.
Would it make sense too that if they haven't spent their budget for the year, they return to that specific fund, or like if EMS comes out 40,000 in the plus at the end of the year, 2026, then that 40 plus ends up in that capital fund?
We could say like a percentage of it or something like that. Because also like now we're doing the permission to spend. So as long as we're gonna break even, for the general fund, then yeah, that'd be great to put some,
I think you're
some of
right.
that
It
extra
should have
money.
to be a percentage.
Yeah, but I also don't want to get into the situation where we've got so much money in those two funds and then we're hurting the general fund.
Yeah.
So maybe when we write the ordinance establishing this fund, we have some sort of provision that, this isn't a forever kind of thing.
Yeah. Because it seems like we almost, toward the end of the year, we see some of them wanting to come in for an encumbrance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chad's planned his point in advance because kind of has to, he's in that catch up, he's modernized the department phase, which could take a few years.
Yeah.
So I appreciate how he's thinking about it. But then there are times I think we have someone come in that might, oh, let me grab this equipment while I can, because we didn't spend down our budget.
Yeah.
When do we really need it? Like,
Yeah.
or.
And I think I went to Indianapolis on Monday. The speaker of Houston spoke to the A board, and then members of there was a property tax task force, and the members of the legislative committee. So there's probably 50 of us there. And one of his, we talked about property taxes and lead and all sorts of stuff, and he kind of pushed back a little bit, and he was like, these small fire departments have all of this equipment that, how many times are you using it? And Mayor Dave Wood was there from Mishawaka, and he pushed back and said, look, we just had a huge fire that had we not had the 2 ladder trucks, we also had to call in South Bend, so we had 4 ladder trucks, we needed that sort of thing. But then Mayor Daniels of Columbia City and Madeline and Say Bartle, who's the clerk treasurer in Churubusco, they said, we have a quarter of the population that South Bend Mishawaka has, and we have 5 ladder trucks in Whitley County. And they're like, that's not needed, So I think there's a big push to get departments talking with each other. How can we share? How can we cooperate? And had a conversation this morning with Marshall County clerks, and just talking about how we want to move forward with the most meetings that we have. But we were discussing, we have to meet with Councilmember Harmon from the county to discuss what the live rate's going to be, and it's non-binding, but it's a discussion. And I think they were getting a little frustrated because he hasn't called these meetings, and how many meetings do we have, and back and forth. And I kind of said, what, we're going to approach him and just ask to get on the schedule, but also in that request, basically say, this is not only is this an opportunity, like we have to do this, but this is also an opportunity to open up some communication between the county and the cities and towns. Not that the cities and towns aren't talking, but we need to start that communication and
cities and
see
towns
where
are
we
better
can
at it.
share. Yeah, but also, where can we be sharing equipment? Where can we work together? And I think like the Stellar and the one Marshall County is doing that to a certain extent, but it's not at the municipal level. So, and I kind of, pulled that in. I'm like, regardless of how you feel about one Marshall, I mean, they've been able to do some of that stuff, and we need to work on doing that better, amongst ourselves. And so we're gonna.
I have a lot of hate from the cities and towns to do that.
Yeah.
Plymouth and the towns.
Yeah, and I think we're all, I mean, Plymouth and Bremen can both each set their own rates. And I think I'm sorry, Bremen would stand to benefit more if they set their own rate. But they haven't decided. They're taking into account, what's best for Bremen, what's best for all the municipalities as a whole. And Plymouth, I think they're more on.
They're on the
it
line, but
really
if
doesn't matter.
Bremen decides to set their own rates,
Yeah.
it's gonna trigger Plymouth to do it too, because you're gonna take that whole population of Bremen out of the lit pool for the county, and once you do that, it's simple math, I think, for Plymouth to do it as well, and then we're all in a different scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of trying to work through that. I will say one thing that I kind of committed, I just need to ask for permission, but the cities and town municipalities would like to bring in Baker Tilly to kind of facilitate the bus meetings. I don't know what the county, what their appetite for that is going to be, but the five of us kind of said, yes, we're all in the split costs. So I don't know what exactly those costs would be, and it's probably
I
gonna be
think
over
it's a great
2,500, but just to let you know that that's kind of what we've been discussing.
If the city and towns are collaborating, I fully support whatever they resolve and how they go about it. At least somebody's talking, right?
Yeah.
So 30.
Yep.
Yep.
I got started. So.
Take care.
Well,